With Aaron Rodgers cleared to practice less than 3 months after tearing his Achilles, it leaves us all to wonder, should I try ayahuasca? With an injury that usually takes a minimum of 6 months to a year to recover from, you have to think they slipped something into this dude's IV drip, right? But remember, athletes aren't like us. They're faster, richer, better looking, get all the hot chicks, live perfect lives, and nothing bad ever happens to them. Except injuries, of course, and they're better at recovering from those too. Let's look at some insanely fast and amazing NFL injury recoveries, and that's coming up right after this. The NFL regular season is winding down, and that means you still have more opportunities to turn your intuition into cold hard cash. That's right, using my code 5points, all first-time users on PrizePicks will receive an instant deposit match up to $100. If you deposit $69, PrizePicks will give you $69. Nice. It's simple. You pick 2 to 6 players and then decide if they will get more or less of their PrizePick projection. And you can win, get this, 25 times your money on any entry. This week, I'm going with Justin Herbert over, Jared Goff over, and Sam Howell of all people over, all on passing yards. PrizePicks also has a promotion schedule so you can take advantage of deals like Taco Tuesday or Flex Fridays where you can win your cash back up to $20. Your money is safe and can be easily withdrawn. Collect those winnings. And don't forget, these are the eligible stakes. So after this video, first-time users go to prizepicks.com or download the app from the link below and use my code 5points for a 100% deposit match up to $100. Again, that's promo code 5points on PrizePicks. Frank Gore Sr., 2 torn ACLs. You might remember Frank Gore as a reliable machine during his remarkable 15-year NFL career, in which he played 241 games, rushed for exactly 16,000 yards, and scored 81 touchdowns. But many people forget his career in the NFL almost never started. While at Miami in 2002, Gore suffered a torn ACL and torn meniscus on his right knee during practice, missing the entire season. Gore rehabbed and returned for the 2003 season, but his 4th game back tore the ACL in his left knee. Frank Sr. rehabbed again and had a monster 2004 campaign on his 2 surgically repaired knees with 197 carries for 945 yards in just 12 games. Though doubts loomed about his durability, Gore would be drafted by the 49ers in 2005 and missed very few games due to injury in his entire NFL career, only missing significant time in 2010 with a freaking fractured hip, oftentimes playing through high ankle sprains and rib injuries. The dude was just straight up tough and will likely end up in the Hall of Fame. Alex Smith, leg broken all to fuck. Alex Smith's recovery from a devastating leg injury wasn't insanely rapid. It did take 2 years. What's insane is that it actually happened at all. In 2018, Alex Smith dropped back for a pass on the awful FedEx Field turf, and his life changed forever. I can't show it, but just describing it is gonna make anyone but the director of Human Centipede wince. Smith suffered a spiral and compound fracture to his tibia and fibula, essentially taking his leg from below the knee and tossing it in an industrial shredder. Most everyone thought his career was over, not just from football, but from walking. Alex Smith said, "Fuck that," and vowed to return to the field. After 17 surgeries, life-threatening sepsis, which literally almost killed him, and essentially a 9-month stay in a hospital, Alex's leg finally healed. At one point, the doctors considered amputation. They had to graft skin from his quads just to hold the dang leg together. So what did Smith do? He got to work. Instead of sulking, he rehabbed, trained, and after missing the entire 2019 season, he spent all of 2020 preparing to do the most insane thing I can think of: play for the Washington football team. During a Week 5 game in 2020, Smith was back on the field, and he actually was serviceable in the last year of his career. He would appear in 8 games that year, start 6 of them, and have a record of 5-1 in leading the football team to a surprising playoff berth, but could not play in the postseason due to a bone bruise. Smith was obviously named Comeback Player of the Year, retired, and is now a broadcaster who delivers some hot takes. And some sensible ones too. His leg still looks gnarly as fuck. Bro, can you cover that up? Terrell Suggs' Achilles injury. After being named Defensive Player of the Year in 2011, Terrell Suggs was looking to make the Ravens a serious contender. That outlook changed dramatically when during the offseason he tore his Achilles tendon while playing basketball? Yes, he was just playing basketball and he tore his Achilles tendon. This injury is known as the career ender, as 36% of athletes who suffer from it never play again. Not Terrell Suggs. Some thought he'd miss the entire season, but whatever he did from June to October should be studied in medical journals. Just kidding, like they would ever tell us what embryonic stem cells and truckloads of HGH from Mexico they pumped into his foot. Suggs came back during week 8 against the Texans and didn't just play, he played really well that season. It doesn't get talked about enough. This recovery pretty much defied all medical science. The Achilles tendon connects the base of your foot to your calf, and if you tear it, it has to be reattached, and then that has to heal. You usually cannot walk for 6 weeks. This dude was playing NFL football 3 months later. Oh wait, there's a second part of this story. Suggs would tear his Achilles in his other leg in 2015. This time, his recovery wasn't as freaky, and he would come back in 2016 and play out the end of his career, relatively injury-free, and won another Super Bowl. But there's no word on whether he's had his gum surgically repaired, though. Adrian Peterson, ACL and MCL. Adrian Peterson's recovery from a torn ACL is the gold standard for any athlete who wants to recover from a devastating injury 10 times faster than anyone else and then go out and piss all over the league. The anterior cruciate ligament is actually inside your knee and keeps it from jiggling around like your mom on a Friday night. It's like the central hub for the joint and is obviously important. The MCL is outside the knee and stabilizes it. Needless to say, you need both of these things. On Christmas Eve 2011, Adrian Peterson tore them both, and guess where he was? Washington. It was the penultimate game of the season. Notice how I used penultimate correctly. And Peterson would obviously miss the finale. That would be the only game he missed as a result of this knee injury. Peterson was back on the field 8 months later and had an all-time great season, rushing for 2,097 yards and coming tantalizingly close to breaking the single-season rushing record. It's not clear exactly what Peterson did to recover than whatever puff piece was done that showed him stretching and working out, but whatever it was, it probably wasn't natural.
How you feeling?
Egg roll. I wish I had a breeze running down my leg. I'd kill for a cookie.
Before we get to our last insane injury recovery, I have to give a shout out to Phillip Rivers, who also tore his ACL and then just said fudge diddly fudge it and played in the AFC Championship game on his shredded knee. Unfortunately, they lost. He had secret surgery done on it, and he never missed a start for the Chargers in 14 years. And now for our final injury recovery, Jack Youngblood, broken leg. Yes, the title of this vid is Insane Injury Recoveries. However, this one is just as insane without really the recovery part. That's because this dude didn't need that shit. In 1979, Jack Youngblood broke his fibula in a playoff game versus the Cowboys, then was like, whatever, and played the NFC Championship game and the Super Bowl on his broken freaking leg. This was the most rub some dirt on it moment in NFL history, and how he continued to play is beyond me because his leg was literally broken. Can I say that again? His leg was fucking broken. Guess what? He even played in the Pro Bowl that year because he's Jack Youngblood, a man who once punched a hole in a cow just to see what was on the other side of it. In 1981, he had to have surgery to remove a blood clot the size of a marble. Did he miss a game? Fuck no, this is Jack Youngblood, people. The only time he didn't play a full season was in 1982 when he only played 9 games because there was a player strike. He probably just hit people for fun during that time. Youngblood played in 201 consecutive games in his career, notched 151 sacks, and started 17 playoff games on his way to a gold jack. But he sits alone in the Hall of Fame of tough motherfuckers. So when you don't want to go to work because you aren't feeling it, think of what Jack Youngblood would say to you. A bitch. He'd call you a bitch.